So we continue with class on Kitzur, Shulchan, and today's class 35. And we start with Sefer Chafetz Chaim. And big subject is new, so it's Avak. So big subject is Avak Loshen Hara. Avak is like a dust. Okay, so they have negative allusions.
There are times when a speaker makes a positive statement about a person and intends it as such, but negative and harmful information can be inferred from his words. The Torah would not consider one who does this to be a halach rachil, peddler of gossip, since both his intent and his words are clearly sincere and positive. Rabbinically, however, this too is prohibited under a category referred to as avak lashon hara, the dust of lashon hara, that is spread by the way of carelessness. The common form of avak lashon hara is where one sincerely praises another, but in doing so alludes to shortcomings of that individual. Who would have believed he would have come this far? Clearly suggests something negative about the person. Such a statement causes the person embarrassment when said in his presence, be harmful to him, even when he is not in his presence. Hence, it is forbidden.
Okay. Any comments?
The book's very straightforward.
Yes. So okay. So basically, we gotta be careful, even if you mean to say something as a praise. Sometimes it could be like negative. So the example would be like this is perfect example. Who could have happened? What happened? This guy. Who he was a bum basically, and now he goes to the first million, which is on one hand it's a big compliment for advance of that person, spiritual advance, but on the other hand, like for other people who did not know him, so now he's this, he is that. Okay, he was this or that, so that's a big issue. Okay, continue with Kitzur, and we started the subject preparing for a prayer, and we're on Simon 12 and Halacha number 3, CF3. Okay, so it is written in Kahelas 4:17. Guard your foot when you go to the house of God. The sages of the blessed memory expound this verse as an introduction regarding preparing oneself from prayer. Bracha story to 23a. Okay. Expanded that your feet in double quote, refers to orifices that are adjacent to the feet. Okay, so let's see, there is a commentary. Although the word in the verse is pronounced as raglecha, your feet, your foot, singular. According to tradition, it is written Reish Gimel Lamet Yud Hey with a Yud. Okay, so pronounced without Yud, but written with a Yud, which would normally read is Raglecho. Yes. Any question?
Yeah. So let's say this is the case, but let's say one is about to pray with a minyan, and he's not going to have another minyan unless he goes right now.
Yeah.
He still has to go to the bathroom.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So it says when you want to go to the bathroom while you praying Shmona Esrei, it's abomination. So we don't do mitzvah via the avera. So mitzvah that is done through the avera is not mitzvah. It's not counted. It's not mitzvah. It's actually avera. So okay, so it says expanding your feet refers to orifices that adjacent to your feet. Okay, meaning that you have to go to the bathroom. Yeah, go ahead.
For example, let's say praying Amidah was a biblical mitzvah. Let's say, right?
Yeah.
So that we're allowed to break a rabbinic prohibition to do a biblical mitzvah or no?
No, if you're not set to if you're not ready, so there are some requirements to do that.
Uh-huh.
So and you're not complying with the requirements to go to the bathroom. I mean, but it's simple. It's not the only. It's a simple explanation. The person cannot concentrate. he would think, oh, I wish they finished soon. I wish this. Can I hold another 5 minutes, or I have to go now? Maybe better I stop. So especially in the morning, like when you have your tefillin on, so you have to take off tefillin, and it takes time, and then so it's a big deal. Okay. Thus the verse is teaching that when going to the house of God, there is a synagogue. To pray, one must guard himself with respect to the needs of relieving himself. So it says he says clearly must. It's not. It's a good thing that it must. Therefore, one must check himself before prayers. One must say before prayers to see if he does or does not need to relieve himself. Okay, and if he feels even a slight urge to relieve himself, it is forbidden for him to pray until he does so. So, I mean, that's the answer to the question. I'm going to read it again. And if he feels even slight urge to relieve himself, it is forbidden to him to pray until he does so. In addition, he is even forbidden to engage in Torah study as long as his body is in abominable state. So that's what we call it, abominable state. So let me just finish and read it. Until he cleanses himself by relieving himself. So this cleansing himself, it's not I can relax myself. No, they call it a cleansing himself from all of these things. Go ahead.
Does the Shulchan Aruch say the same thing about eating? To go use the bathroom before you eat, or no?
Before you eat.
I think the Rambam says something like that. So that's why.
I would say before pronouncing the blessing, or before if you need to say Birchas Hamazon, and now you want to go you must go to the bathroom because Birchas Hamazon is a prayer. You have to Birchas Hamazon in many things, in many aspects, it's compared to our Shmona Esrei. That's how serious it is. Yeah.
Understood.
Okay, so let's read the commentary. It says, commentary number 5. It is also forbidden to recall all of the other recite. I'm sorry. Okay, so he says it is also forbidden to recite all other blessings or Shema. So okay, so you had a specific question for he wants to go eat, or he wants to, for example, he's thirsty, right? So I mean, if he has to go quickly to the bathroom, so he can go quickly to the bathroom. If he's so thirsty, so he cannot hold, he can say blessing on the water, whatever, drink, and then say Asher Yotzer after the bathroom. There is no problem. I mean, he can reverse the order. Okay, so.
Wait, a question about water. Now, I know that if we're not, if we're not thirsty, we don't have to make the bracha on water.
Yes.
That's because water isn't, we'll say, indulgent. It's not something that you.
There is no taste and there is no smell. So it's always like to quench thirst.
Yeah. Because what I would think is, for example, like how in the morning before Shabbos we're allowed to have like coffee or something.
Yes.
Because it's not for it's for another purpose. It's not for taste. It's not to actually eat. And so I thought maybe
it's
coffee.
for concentration. If it's going to help you to concentrate, so you're allowed according to all authorities.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So I was thinking maybe the same goes for, let's say, something like coffee or milk. You don't have to make a bracha in certain situations. Because
No. What's I said? These all other things you actually derive enjoyment from coffee, from milk. But with the water, you cannot. I mean, the water is water. Even some people say it's this water is tastier than that. Maybe they add something to the water, maybe some sugar, but it's not clean water. I mean, it's unless it's actually it's not true. Maybe like I remember like we were in a park, this national park, and this water tastes like different. Did I like it? Different. I don't know.
Oh, it's cool. But for when the Shulchan Aruch talks about chakras, doesn't it say that we're allowed to have, like, for example, coffee because we derive no enjoyment from that as well?
No, it's not. It's not about enjoyment. You can derive enjoyment from coffee before shacharis, but your main goal, so you can concentrate on your prayer. Or in the summer, like if you're thirsty, so for the, you woke up and you're thirsty, you want to drink something. So I mean, so you can talk, like you have a like dry throat, so you can drink. Me personally, I'm trying never to drink, never ever. So that's why that's Shulchan said, because you're going to be a little humble, not a little, very humble. You know, when people eat and drink, and so they become a little arrogant and stuff like that. Especially so in Shulchan it says, Mishnah Brura explains. They say do not add if you drink what is it, coffee without sugar and without milk. Don't make it like a rich, nice beverage. So if you need for caffeine to boost your energy, to open your eyes, black coffee is going to work. But they say if he cannot drink otherwise and stuff like that, so some lenient and they allowed sugar and the milk, basically. Okay. But I say just in order to be humble, you can survive, and once you got used to it, there is no problem. Okay. So okay. So there is one more comment. When they comment on until he cleanse himself by relieving himself, so he cannot start praying until he cleanse himself. Okay. So it says, see above 4:1. Where it states that one who does not relieve himself upon feeling a pressing need also violate prohibition of you shall not render yourself abominable. So abominable, okay, so let's see what it says, and then we add. Here we learn that even when the urge to relieve oneself is not urgent, it is still forbidden to engage in Torah study and prayer. So even if he wants to go to the bathroom a little, that's what he must do. And they explain, I think we said there, or Mishnah Brura, I remember said that, so it can make, especially men, we're talking about men, sterile. So he would not be able to have children if he holds back. So so basically that's he made himself abomination. That's a big deal, basically. Continue. If one has already prayed, despite feeling need to relieve himself, if he evaluates himself and concludes that when he started his prayer, he would have been able to hold himself back for an amount of the time that takes to walk a parsa, okay, which is an hour and a fifth of an hour. There is 72 minutes. Then his prayer is valid after the fact. So here's the thing, so as we said, there is a b'diavad, like after fact. So he already did it, he did not do according to halacha. So the question is, okay, he broke halacha, we said do not pray. He prayed anyway. For example, he did not know, he this, he that. So the question is if he has to pray again, basically. So if he could have held back for an hour and 12 minutes, so which is very long time. So it says, so they explain the meal. Okay, we discussed before, but one more time. So between 2.4 and 2.9 miles, right? See appendix. According to Bir Halacha, he must be able to actually walk that distance without having stopped to relieve himself. So Bir Halacha is more stringent. So it's okay. 1 hour and 12 minutes. You can maybe sit or stand or drive in the car and sit on the couch if you want. But walk, that's a different thing. So I would say it's much more stringent. So when you walk, so you would feel the more urge. So okay. So that's the thing. So 1 hour and 12 minutes, and plus if you go by stringent opinion while walking. So basically, most of the time, this prayer was in vain, basically. Let's see. But if he could not have held himself back for that long, even in a case where he has already prayed, his prayer deemed abominable, and he must pray again. So Very straightforward. So you ask me if he can pray if he's going to lose the minyan. So what can he do? He has to go to the bathroom. Right? That's the halacha. Otherwise, it's like abomination. It's better not to make abomination and pray in yichus by yourself than do this abomination. Commentary. Only Shmona Esra must be repeated. Okay. If one recites Shema and all the other blessings in this state, although one is forbidden to do so, they do not have to be repeated. Mishnah Brura 92.6. Okay. Bir Halacha 92.1. Okay, so basically, Mishnah Brura gives us a huge discount. Yes. So huge discount, and he said only to repeat Shmona Esra. Okay, continue. So basically, like me personally, I'm trying to be stringent. One of the things it's we have this tradition to accept upon ourselves before Rosh Hashanah some things, right? So some things in the merit of the things, whatever you accept it upon yourself. So and you ask Hashem to give you whatever you want to get, right? So they say do not accept big things because many people fail, but small things that you can do, so accept it upon yourself. So many years ago, I accepted to myself to make sure that I use the bathroom like before every Shmona Esrei. Understand? So to be a little stringent. I mean, it's not stringent. It's according to the law to check yourself. So I'm trying to be careful with that. For example, right? So. Okay, but on the other hand, if you check yourself and you didn't want to go, and now in the middle of Shmona Esrei you feel the urge, so it's totally different. You're allowed to finish. There is no problem. But we're going to get to it. Some say that if one is able to hold himself back for the amount of the time that it takes to walk parasah, so meaning this hour and quarter, it is even permitted for him to pray initially. Okay. One may rely on this opinion if he's in such situation that by the time he relieves himself, the time of the prayer would have passed. So meaning even like by individual, it's too late to pray. So commentary. This is only the case with regard to the time of the prayers. However, one should not rely on this opinion. To enable him to pray with the minyan. Mishnah Brura 92.5. Okay, so that's Mishnah Brura clarifies it's. I mean, so you're going to lose the mitzvah praying with the minyan, but you still pray it on time, and you check yourself. Okay, so basically, try to go stricter opinion. Check yourself before the Shmona Esrei, before the prayers and stuff like that. Okay. So next commentary. There the Kitzur discusses the law that pertains to one who feels the urge to live in himself only after he began the Shmona Esrei. Or see below 1816. So in the laws of Shmona Esrei, we're going to discuss all of these things. Okay, we're going to get to it. HaShem. Okay, next halacha number 4. We have seen above 1023 that one is required to maintain guf naki, clean body. So clean body, it's one of the requirements. While wearing tefillin. And it is therefore prohibited to wear them while one feels the need to pass gas. In this year, we learned that the laws pertaining to reading the Shema and prayer, even without wearing tefillin, while one feels the need to pass gas. Okay. Pass gas. Okay. So continue. So okay, one who is certain that he cannot hold himself back from passing gas until he finishes reading the Shema, right? And the Shachar Shmona Esrei prayer. It is better that he let the time of reading the Shema and the time of the prayer pass than the praise without clean body. So they say do not pass gas, basically. So commentary. This halacha is applied only if one who is certain that he will pass gas. Everyone who is not certain may not delay the recitation of the Shema Shmona Esrei due to concern that he may pass gas. So, for example, if somebody has this, I don't know, stomach virus, this virus, that virus, and he's basically sick and he has diarrhea and stuff like that, so that's the problem, right? So he cannot maintain the clean body. So in this case, they would, the way I remember we learned in Mishnah Brura says, so do psuki de, do all of the carbonos, do psuki de zimra without tefillin, right? Then you need to pass gas. So and when you're sure that you have, you can do, like, you can hold yourself back for a Shema, for recitation of the Shema with the blessings in the Shemona Esrei, or at least one at a time. So that's what you must do. Okay. So you then when you're ready, put tefillin quickly, say Shema, and then take tefillin off. So okay, so let's read the last sentence, and there is another comment. It is better that he let the time of reading the Shema and the time of prayer pass than to pray without clean body. So meaning that if he can go to the bathroom and but the time of the Shema is going to pass, so let him go to the bathroom. That's what it means. Commentary. This means that he should not recite Shema and the Shachar Shemona Esrei together at that time. Okay. Rather, he should recite Shema in a proper time, even without tefillin, despite the certainty that he will pass gas at the time, and let the time of Shachar is passed by without praying Shemona Esrei. Okay, well, what can he do? Shemona Esrei is different than Shema, since when praying Shemona Esrei, one is standing directly before the king, and it is unacceptable to pass gas in such a situation. So basically, I mean, he see Mishnah Brura. So it's and he summarizes whether the difference between the Shema and Shemona Esrei. So Shema, even the Shema is biblical. There is no question about it. But Shemona Esrei is rabbinical. But difference between them, in Shemona Esrei, you're standing in front of the king. Okay, that's the thing. Okay. And if due to this the time for the prayer had indeed passed by, he is viewed as one who has considered forced to unavoidably miss prayer. And he may therefore make up this prayer by adding an additional prayer after prayer later, as will be explained below. Okay, so one more time. And if due to this the time for the prayer had indeed passed by, so I mean he could not, he went to the bathroom, he is viewed as one who is considered forced, right, to unavoidably miss the prayer, and he may therefore make up the prayer and add an additional prayer later, as will be explained below at Simon 21. So before we got to Simon 21, it's a long way to go. So basically, in some instances, you're allowed to say the second Shemona Esrei. So if you were forced to miss it, you're doing the mitzvah, and whatever happened, I don't know, whatever happened, you are prevented by some circumstances beyond your control. So you're allowed, for example, you miss Shachar Shemona Esrei, so you're allowed during the Mincha to say two Shemona Esreis. So first you say Shemona Esrei for Mincha, and then second, right after you finish, you continue with second Shemona Esrei, and you have in mind that it's Shemona Esrei for Shacharis. But it's only if you did not plan on doing so. So I remember that there was one guy, and unfortunately, I don't know, like that's the problem. The problem I see among the people. Some people do not learn, period, but some people learn just snaps here and there. So he learned that if you miss a Shemona Esrei, you can do additional Shemona Esrei. So always, so I would go to that shul for Marif, right? And he always was diving down to Shemona Esrei, right after one after another. So I told him, "What are you doing?" So basically, I have no idea why he did not pray mincha. It's a different story. But he said that's my shortcut. That's what I'm going to do. Understand? That's absolutely wrong. And it's I think that Shmona Esrei in vain. All of the blessing in vain. The way I understand. Continue. It seems if it seems to him. So basically, in this case, it was gas. I mean, he ate whatever he ate. He does not feel good, so we allow him to do second shmonas. For the next prayer, if it seems to him that he cannot hold himself back during the reading of the Shema only, then he should put on tefillin between the blessing who chooses the people Israel with love. Meaning, it's this blessing. It's a right before the Shema, the Shema Israel line. That's the last blessing, right? And in this case, he can say blessing. Does not. Yeah. It says that he can recite blessing on tefillin. In that case, you can break there. So basically, you skip a lot from the Shema, all of this blessing before the Shema. So basically, they try to minimize time that he's going to wear tefillin as much as possible. So one more time between the blessing who chooses his people Israel with love, and beginning of the Shema, right? And so basically, that's in our Sidurim. It says you can answer Amen. Some people do not answer Amen. They say Be'ahava, with love, meaning with a Chazan, but it does not make any difference. Okay, in this case, according to our poskim, you can talk. So okay, the beginning of the Shema and recite the blessing on the tefillin. Sipri Magadim. Okay, recite blessing on tefillin. Immediately after reciting the Shema, he should remove his tefillin. However, he may continue wear a tallis because it does not require clean body. So for tallis, as we said before, it is article for that you use it for tefillah on one hand. On another hand, it's an article of clothing. It is respectable, but not you don't need to have clean body basically for this. And Sipri Magadim commentary, Mitzuda Zahav paragraph 1, which discusses the halachas regarding one who suffers from chronic condition that causes flatulence. That's poor people, and it's not that easy. So in some cases they would like excuse them basically from putting on tefillin, or give him, or if he knows that he can hold like I don't know himself for 2 minutes. So in these 2 minutes, he has to put tefillin any time during whatever he has, and say blessing, Shema, and take them off. Unfortunately, that's some people suffer like that. Okay, let's do number 5. It says the one must wash his hands with water until the wrist, Rambam, before his prayers. Okay, so let's do a few commentaries. One need not dry his hands before beginning to pray. I mean, you usually we do, but it's not necessary before the prayer. 18 commentary. 3 of the daily prayers. So before you pray, so you have to wash your hands. So, for example, if you left your house, and the shoe is not that far from you, for example, and you did not touch shoes, and for example, if you went to the bathroom in your house after you put on shoes, and you did not touch all of the places that are usually covered, so you're not obligated to wash your hands when you came to the shul. If you're not sure, if you're not going directly from home when you just wash your hands, so of course you need to wash your hands up to the wrist, and same as we do in the morning. Just 1 second before his prayer. Therefore, even though he has already washed his hands, in the morning upon arising. So I mean, it was some time ago, right? As we have seen above in Simon 2, if after that washing he touched with his hands any soiled place, there is any place that on the body of the person that are usually covered. So I mean, you scratch your neck even, right? They're usually covered. That can have beds or sweat, beds of sweat there. So meaning that you touch the sweat, or if he scratches his head, right? Head means scalp, not the hair. Hair there is no problem. Or if he did not wash his hands in the morning until wrist, somehow, I mean, he did not have water, or it was not enough water. He spilled, he this, he that. Okay, so basically that's the reason. In all of these cases, he must wash them again before the prayer. So, but as we said, if you just coming from house and you know that you did not touch all these places, covered places, and you did not touch shoes, so you're not obligated to wash. Okay, go ahead.
So I heard that when it comes to scratching your head, that's only not allowed when the hair is usually under your kippah. Is that correct?
Yes, because this place it's under different category. It's in category the places that are usually covered.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
But if I scratch myself here, for example, I scratch on my hair, there is no problem. If I scratch like underneath the hair, like my scalp, that's the problem. That's I'm touching the skin. Okay, so but you're right about kippah, yeah. Okay, if one does not have a water available there, he must go after it. Right? So it's not so easy. So he must wash hands. This is only if he knows that there is a water in a certain place. He need not to go to the place if he's not sure if there is a water there. Okay. I remember somewhere in Israel, so it's one of those beautiful, beautiful shuls. Like they even though it's new, but it was built like the old building, like old Eastern like I'm not sure some kind of Sephardic maybe, I don't know. Well, from what country they are from, and but it was closer to me to my hotel, so that I went to daven with them. Very interesting, and they held like big gates, beautiful gate, and right when you enter the gate, they had this faucets with the cups. It was so unbelievable. So even like when you go to the on a shul yard, so you have even there you have your hands clean. Very nice. This obligates him. So continue. So meaning if he did not have water, he has to search for water. This obligates him to go up to 4 mil. We're going to see what is 4 mil. This is equivalent to 1 parasan, which is 1 hour. See above note 8. 1 second. So meaning 2.4 to 2.9 miles. Okay? Which is it's very far. If water in a route that is light before him, or up to a mil, 4 meals, or up to a mil. So okay, up to a mil. If the water is behind him, there is on a route that he has already traveled. So basically, if it's only on your way, so we're talking about here. If he's going to pray alone, I guess, right? So it and the time for the prayer is not going to pass. Right? That's the way I understand. So if he can go, so it doesn't matter. He stops here or he stops 1 hour later.
So why does the Kitzur first talk about because this only applies to someone traveling, to someone traveling from city to city, for example, but the person inside. So why does the Kitzur decide to talk about someone traveling before someone in his normal space?
Because I would say if a person prays in a shul, there is always water there.
Mm-hmm.
There is no question about it. I mean, Okay, or if he's in the city, like maybe there is a well or whatever, there is easy access to the water somewhere. But when you travel, there is not always the water available.
Mm-hmm. Understand.
Okay, so or for example, you're driving on a highway, wherever you're going, whatever upstate, and you have friends, and you said let's pray mincha, because otherwise we're going to forget. We're going to do this and that. So and there is no water. So and somebody said let's drive to that rest area, this rest area when there is water. The bathroom there is water, so that's what you must do. You have to go there, go to the bathroom, wash your hands, and if you want to pray there, pray there. If you want to pray to another place, that's I mean that's how it I guess apply in our time. So one more time, there is one more comment. So it's in all of the halachas, I would say, they say 4 meals going forward. So meaning it's not to inconvenience you. You're going there anyway, or 1 meal going back or to the sides. Okay, so continue. I mean, not continue. Commentary. This formula is speaking of a person who is traveling. If he is traveling in a certain direction and he wants to stop to pray, he must continue on this way for up to 4 meals to obtain water to wash his hands. If water is to be found up to 1 meal behind him, or in any direction that is out of his way, he is required to go there to wash, meaning left, right, whatever, out of his way. For one who is not traveling, any movement is considered out of his way. So meaning 1 meal if he's not traveling. Consider out his way, and need go only up to 1 meal to obtain the water. Okay, so it's like I don't know, like 17 minutes, 18 minutes, whatever time it is. See below, see if 8 for other exception to apply to here as well. So basically, or if you're going to pray with, and you're going to lose a minion to pray with a minion, so we don't make him to go somewhere to change the water. So it's not it's not smart. I mean, it's not that strict. So the thing is to cleanse your hands. So you can cleanse with a napkin, for example. Napkin also clean, or a piece of rag. I mean, something, right? I think the Talmud uses the expression of pebbles. So pebbles meaning that they can clean your hands. Okay, go ahead.
No, I wanted to ask something, but I ended up understanding that usually for some things, let's say some surfaces, let's say you touch, all you have to do is wipe your hands down. You don't have to use water. But for others, water is mandatory. So my question was going to be if one needs, it talks about if for those where water is mandatory, one is allowed to simply, wash his hands against the rock. But I see from here that it's allowed.
I mean, the first preference is always water, because water is it means it has this cleansing ability. So, but if there is no water, so then there is the standing order. What else you can use as a cleansing agent? That's I would say the answer. Okay, but let's see. Continue. However, if one fears that by going all this way, the time for the prayer will pass, which is very possible. So commentary. According to Mishnah Brura 92:20, even if going that distance will cause him to miss praying with the congregation, he does not have to travel to the water. As we said that, so but he can cleanse himself, like hands some other way. He should instead clean his hands with the pebbles. It's from a Talmud, yeah, pebbles or with the earth. So or with the sand. So basically, all of these cleansing agents, right? or with any other substance that cleans. Commentary. Earth is considered something that cleans, presumably due to the abrasive properties elsewhere. Okay, Mishnah Berurah uses example of the dry cloth. So, I mean, okay. So earth, I mean, if he has napkins today, like Bounty, these paper napkins, I mean, that would be more preferable than earth or pebbles and stuff like that. So, okay. With any other substance that cleans, and then pray. So, meaning not to miss a minyan and stuff like that, not to miss a time for prayer. This is derived from the wording of the verse that refers to the obligation of washing before praying. As it is written in Tehillim 26:6, I wash in cleanliness my hands, etc. I wash connotes washing with water. That's when we say wash, it's all with water, not with pebbles, right? Whereas then cleanliness connotes any method of cleaning the hands. These contradictory complications are resolved as follows. I wash with water when possible, but if there is not possible, with cleanliness, with anything that cleans. I mean, it says beautifully. So the difference between Kitzur Shulchan Aruch and Mishnah Berurah. So in Mishnah Berurah, he goes to all of the details, and to get to this concise point, it would take us very, very long time. So I would say it's my approach that it's a proper to get basic knowledge, and here in this article, they made amazing. They did an amazing job with all of these things that they add to the Kitzur itself and to these notes. So I mean, so my approach is would finish Kitzur, and then we can go to Mishnah Berurah B'ezrat Hashem. There's no problem. Okay. So continue. We have time for one more. We'll stop. Yeah. Okay. One more. Okay. The last thing we stop. If one washes his hands in the morning properly, and he has no certain knowledge that his hands later become unclean from anything, so commentary, this is not contrast to the previous year, where he either did not wash the hands properly in the morning, or he did, but they subsequently became unclean. Okay. Nevertheless, since in the interim, his attention was diverted from the cleanliness of his hands, even if he spent the time in between studying Torah, it is also considered as diversion of attention from the state of his hands. So he must also wash with water for the purposes of praying. So here they say, we're going to read the commentary now. So if, in an example that I gave, so if you're at home and you said those little blessings in the house, and you just put on your shoes, whatever you put, you went to the bathroom, you wash your hands, so and you just walk to the shoes, so you can have your attention to cleanliness of your hands, so it's not going to touch things, right? But if some time passed and you did this and you did that, so I mean you talk to people, so you already diverted your attention. So in this case, you must wash your hands again. Okay, so see Mishnah Berurah 92:23. Person hands are constantly moving without his being conscious of them. Therefore, if he was not paying attention to them, they might have touched unclean parts of the body without his knowledge. I mean, he just automatically, that's what we do. Okay. And it says, so he must also wash his hands in the water for the purpose of praying. So basically, the Shulchan Aruch says, since he's not sure 100% that he did not touch something, these areas that he was not supposed to touch, so he has to wash the hands. Commentary. However, one need not wash his hands prior to studying the Torah or recited other blessing, as long as he does not know that have to touch something unclean. Mishnah Berurah. That's very interesting. So if he wash his hand and he does not know for sure that he touched something unclean, so it is a little more lenient with the study of the Torah, so he does not have to wash his hands again. Okay. But some rabbis they advise it's like a little stringency, just to make sure that you wash your hands before you pray, before you start in Torah. However, in this case, when one does not know whether he had to touch unclean place or not, he need not travel to a different place specifically to find water. So here's another leniency. If you for sure you know, so they say you have to go, unless you're going to miss a minyan or the time of the prayer passes, right? And he has other things to clean with. But here, in the case of the doubt, so since it's rabbinical, so we don't drive him crazy. Thus, if he does not have water available, and if he will not go to get it, he will miss the prayer. And if he will go to get it, he will miss the prayer with the congregation. He should not go after the water. Right? So that's the leniency, which is good. But rather clean his hands with anything that it cleanses, and prays with the congregation. Okay, I think we can stop here. That's good. We cover a very good amount. Any questions on what we said?
Honestly, not really. It's very.
He's very straightforward.
Mm-hmm.
So, any other questions?
Pretty much, no.
Okay, so let me stop recording then. Second.
אני מברך את הרבנים, רגע. אני מברך את הרבנים, הרב ירון ראובן, הרב אפרים כחלון, ראשי ארגון בעזרת השם, שהלכו בפי עליון, שעלו מעלה, יהיה להם ברכה והצלחה, הקדוש ברוך הוא ימלא בלשונות ליבם לטובה ולברכה, שבכל מה שיפנו ישכילו ויצליחו, יזכרו לעשות כאלה וכאלה, הודיעו תורה לאדירה, אמן ואמן.
בעזרת השם רשת בכל הארץ. הוא היהודי הזה, הוא היה מיליונר, סגר את כל הביזנס, אמר אני משקיע פה בעולמה של תורה.
איפה הוא גר?
בפלורידה.
פלורידה, איפה זה פלורידה? באמריקה.
במיימי. כן, ליד. אנחנו שם עכשיו הולכים להקים קהילה ספרדית.
חזק אותו בשמי.
קהילה ספרדית גדולה.
תעבירו מה שבירכתי אותו.
כן, קהילה ספרדית גדולה.